Hey everyone! So today's video has been a requested one by the lovely Bellatrons. I will leave all of her information in the description below, so you can definitely check her out and subscribe and give her all of your love, support, and care and all that good stuff. And she did request this video a while ago. I didn't forget, I promise. I just never had the time to actually sit long enough to make this video. But she basically wanted me to talk about bullying. And she wanted to know my thoughts and my opinions on it, if I've ever experienced it, and her general main question was if I've ever seen anyone physically being bullied. The thing about bullying is it's so subjective and complex that you can't just put a clear-cut definition on what it is, because the thing is, how I view bullying, it might be completely different than how you view bullying, and that can be different than the general stereotypical definition of what bullying is, which is basically someone who's superior and they use their physical or intellectual or emotional power over someone who's inferior, and basically manipulates or controls them into doing whatever they want them to do. I don't know. I guess to answer your question, if I've ever physically seen anyone being bullied before, no and yes. The thing is, I've seen a lot of fights, and I wouldn't necessarily classify them as being physically bullied, because they both are kind of equal, going back and forth. Because of my definition of what I feel that bullying is when one person can't handle themselves or, protect or defend themselves against another, whether it be physical or verbal. And, the fights that I've seen, they're both kind of going tit for tat. So I never put that under the category of bullying. I mean, whatever initiated the problem, I'm not sure. I mean, it could have been stemmed from, bullying, but I'm never in anyone's business like that to know exactly the reason. So I don't know, but I guess I would say yes, I have also seen physical bullying, because I've seen people get jumped. So technically that one person can't defend themselves against like 5 people, beating on them. So yes, that would be bullying. But the general bullying itself, I have seen and I have stepped in. Just like I've mentioned in my stalker video of, the boy who was basically stalking me and, making my life complicated. They were being bullied, by my ex, who was like right there. And I stepped in still, because I saw that this person couldn't handle themselves, within the confrontation. So regardless of who they were, I still stepped in. And granted, that made my life more complicated and more difficult, because I guess he's never had anyone, stand up for him or defend him. So by me taking the initiative and basically being his voice against another person, he became more attached, and he fell more in love, and it made my situation a lot worse. But regardless of anything, still, if I ever see it, I step in. If I know you can't handle it, because I know I can. Personally, have I ever experienced bullying? Under the technical definition of bullying, yes. But the thing about me is, I only feel that it's bullying if you allow it to be. Like, if you kind of feed into it, only then will it be bullying. Because the thing is, I never have. And that's due to my personality and just the experiences I've had in life. The thing about me is, like, I've had people not like me or want to fight me because they feel I'm prettier and they feel I'm a certain type of way and they don't like it, so they don't like me. Of course, not knowing who I am or what I'm about. People not like me because of my race. People not like me because my skin is lighter and that I'm mixed. I've had a time where basically damn near the entire grade was against me, and I legit had like maybe 2-3 people who had my back, and everyone else was just like, I don't like you, and blah blah blah. But the thing about that, like all of it, is I don't care. I genuinely don't care. Like, if you like me, that's cool. We could be friends, that's fine, whatever. And if you don't like me, you don't like me. Who cares? Because the thing is, like, I've moved around a lot. Like, a lot. Like, I've been to 4 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and by the time I got to high school, I was, like, done with leaving and switching schools and stuff. Because I did actually meet a group of people who were genuine, and that's where I met my husband and all that stuff, and my best friend and all that good stuff. So I wasn't trying to leave anymore. But the reasons for me moving so much, I don't know. My parents like to move. I honestly don't know why we move so much. But it was never because of anything. We just moved just because we moved. So the thing is, I was never anywhere long enough to actually care whether someone liked me or not, because I was leaving. So by the time I established any kind of friendship, I had to leave and basically start all over again. So that kind of built the thick skin that I have, because I'm like, you know, I don't care to fit in anywhere because I'm leaving anyways, so it doesn't matter. By the time I, you know, start anything, I have to leave it. So I've always been myself. I've always not given a shit about, you know, anyone's opinions on me, because I'm leaving. So you're not going to see me anyways, so who cares? And it's always just stuck with me now since I'm stationary, finally. I am the way I am. But I guess to go back and touch on all of the things that I've mentioned with race, I've had girls want to basically fight and jump me, and they just legit purely didn't like me because I'm black. And I've experienced this really young. This was like maybe 9 or 10, and I guess that's when I was introduced to like I mean, I've heard about it, but not really. You know, you're a kid, you're all la-di-da. The whole issues of race and racism and all that stuff, and that can be another separate story. But they didn't like me at all, and I didn't know or understand why. And eventually I'm like, okay, well, you know what, I didn't do anything to you, and you don't like me, but I mean, it is what it is. So, you know, I don't personally, I don't talk. I'm not one of those loud yip-yappers. You know, if you have an issue or something, you know how some people just run their mouth constantly. I don't say anything. I'm just like, if you want to fight me, I'm right here. I'm not going to talk about it. Just do it. But, of course, that could be another separate video. I've had a lot of issues over time, and that's mostly been with girls. And you'll hear a lot of people saying, you know, I only have guy friends because they don't like girls, because, you know, girls are petty and they do a lot of underhanded, you know, two-faced kind of things, which is completely true. I see it, I'm around it all the time, which is why I don't deal with it, and which is why I've mainly had a lot more guy friends. And of course I've had issues because of that, you know, and because that I'm prettier than a lot of people, I guess, whatever they feel. And without knowing who I am or what I'm about, you know, they judge me for it and they don't like it. To go on to the point of what I was saying, when the entire grade was against me, I was in middle school, 7th grade, of course. I had a group of friends, and they were girls. And basically, one of my friends, she was like one of my best friends, she was going out with this boy who was popular, so they both were like at the top of the top. And basically everyone loved them. They were like the golden relationship. They were like the Beyonce and Jay-Z of middle school. And one day I was hanging out with friends, and her boyfriend was there, and basically her boyfriend got touchy. And of course I didn't like it, and I had an issue and a problem with it, and I was pissed because I'm like, well, now you're doing things that are like jeopardizing your own relationship, and you're bringing me into it. And I'm like, I don't want to deal with any of this, and I don't want to deal with you. And the thing is, when that happened, one of my friends walked in, and I guess she left. And basically the next day she went and told my friend before I can get a chance to let her know, because the whole time I'm like, okay, well, how am I gonna break this down to her that her boyfriend was being inappropriate and doing this and that. And of course my friend was pissed. And when I did finally get a chance to talk to her, I explained to her what happened. I explained to her basically everything, and I told her I was gonna talk to you. I just needed the chance to. And we hashed it out completely fine, back to best friends. But this other friend who told, and the other others in our circle, they basically took it and carried on with it. And pretty much my friend and her boyfriend, they broke up, and I basically was the one who was blamed for it all, even though I had nothing to do with any of it. But I was basically the reason why they broke up. So basically everyone hated me for it, and people wanted to fight me, and they wanted this, and all that issue and drama, of course, with middle school. But with situations like that, of course, I'm like, I didn't necessarily care, because I knew I was leaving anyway. So what things like that give you the chance to do is it gives you the chance to see who's actually genuine, and who really has your back, and who's an actual friend, compared to those who are pretending to be, or those who are only your friends until shit hits the fan and then they're gone. So for those of you who do experience like that kind of stuff, whether it be cyberbullying or any of that, because the thing is, cyberbullying, it wasn't really a thing because I am older, so it wasn't that popular. It's only like now starting to become the thing with all this social media. So I haven't dealt with any of that stuff. Even now, if there's whole things online, or I have no idea, because I stay in my happy bubble, and whether they're pages and protests and anti-Kandy, whatever, I don't care, because I'm not in it. But I guess in general, before I even make this into a 50-minute video, because I probably could if I actually sat and talked long enough, but my advice to any of you who are being bullied or who have experienced it is definitely always keep your head up. And I know a lot of people say it, but what all of this is doing is it's building a better person, regardless of whether you feel like it's doing any good or not. Just don't take it 1,000% as a bad thing. That's just why, like what I've mentioned, and this is basically how I feel with any experience that I've ever had, regardless of how terrible it has been, which I've been through a lot. But it's always a learning experience. Like every experience you have in life, it's always a learning one. You always take something from it and grow from it. and the issues with people who don't like you. I know it's hard, especially when you're younger. You want to fit in. You want to, be a part of something. Say fuck it, be by yourself, be your own friend. And I am my best friend in the entire world, along with my husband. I don't know who's who's above who here, but it's a very close tie between my friendship with myself and my husband, which kind of sounds odd and creepy, not creepy, crazy, but you'll always be the one to have your own back. So whether the entire world is against you or everyone is with you, you will always have yourself. And those who, put obstacles in your way and complicate your lives further, all they're doing is building thicker skin. And eventually, it'll be thick enough for you not to care at all. And all of the experiences that I've had in my own life, like it was constant thing after thing after thing after thing. And it's just built such a thick skin that I honestly don't care. And that has made me the happiest person in the entire world, because I just don't give a shit. Whether you're family, whether you're a stranger, whether you're friends, I honestly don't care of your opinions. And it's such a beautiful feeling to feel like once you just stop giving a fuck. And you'll get there eventually, and it will take a very long time and many, many experiences, and it will be hard, but stay strong and just keep your head up. It has taken me what's my age? I forgot. It has taken me 26 years to build such thick skin, and it feels good. It looks beautiful. So love yourself, and use these opportunities of turmoil and tragedy and just unhappiness and turn it into something positive and something you can hold on to and something you can build from, because you are becoming a vessel of knowledge and information and hope and happiness for someone else, and you can teach and train them to do the same, which is what I hope to do with you who are watching and listening to my words and my experiences. So I'm rambling now, so I'm gonna stop, and I will see you all in my next video. So have a wonderful night, morning, evening, or afternoon whenever you're watching. And if there is anything you would like to know more, or for me to go deeper into, which I can and I have no problem doing, or if you want any advice or opinions on anything in the world, just let me know, and I will be more than happy to talk it out and give you my support and my love. Stay happy and true to yourself, and I will see you all later. Bye. I completely forgot. I never answered Raven's question. I'm sorry. Her question was, was there anything you were afraid of happening to yourself or your viewers after you started your YouTube channel? Yes, and I won't say what it is, because I feel that if you reveal your fears, you become vulnerable, and there are people out there who do want to harm or hurt. So I don't like sharing that kind of information, because I don't want it to be used against me. And some of you might say, oh, that wouldn't happen, like why would somebody do that? But I've had experiences where people have used things against me, so I stopped sharing. But basically, what I was always concerned with is safety, and it will always be a concern. It drives me insane when I see people post their information and all that so casually. And it's frustrating because like you're putting yourself at risk by, like, you know, some people put their whole name, or same thing like when people have like P.O. boxes, which I was considering until I was just like, wait, when you do that, you're kind of indicating the general area of where you live, and then people can come see you or find out where you live and all that other stuff, and you're putting yourself and your family and whoever you're around at risk, because you don't know everyone's intentions on how they feel about you, or, you know, whatever they want to do. So I guess safety would always be a concern of mine, and I usually go through the channels of keeping myself and others protected, whether it's online or in person. But yeah, I'm not going to share what I'm really afraid of, because I don't want to. But I guess the easier answer would be safety. So now with that said, I will see you all later. Bye.